Hi, my name is Lorna Mothamia Ochido, and I'm making it one of my life's mission to demystify the speech therapy field and to empower more parents on what they can start to do in order to optimize their child's communication outcomes. So whether you want your child to talk more or talk better, learn better, and overall optimize their potential. So stay tuned and feel free to send in any topics on speech and language development you'd like for me to tackle. Welcome to my channel. I need to practice how I introduce myself, but I think that will be it because I've actually found I have a set way of introducing myself and ending. Like I'd say, what do I say actually when I end? I say, and there you have it. It's just natural, guys. I didn't even practice it. It's not like my tagline. But anyway, welcome to my channel. I'm Lorna Mothamia Ochido. I am a speech therapist. If this is the first time you're here on my channel, please like us. If you like this video, or if you just like that I'm asking you for likes. And also that bell that is down there, it's called the notification bell, because I did get actually asked, this is a legitimate question, how do I get notified when you post a new video? And that is how you get notified. Like if you hit that bell, you subscribe and then hit the notification bell. It seems to be different on my husband's phone, an iPhone. I don't know why, but on my Android, it's always there. It's a bell. Maybe somebody needs to tell me what it looks like on an iPhone. Please tell me actually down below what it looks like on a iOS or iPhone. Anyway, so today's topic is about something that I'm not sure whether I liked this as a child, but I know a lot of children do have what's referred to in Kenya as tuition. Or maybe I should say it like we say it in Kenya, tuition. So tuition, what is tuition? And does it really help to remediate your child's learning issues? In my home, and I think it never happened, I don't know what my parents had, they really must have had insight about tuition, because I think I only once went for tuition when I was just about to sit my primary school final exam, KCPE. And I remember I went for tuition. I was very excited. It was so novel because I'd never been for tuition before. And I know a lot of parents who have children who have delayed language skills or are falling behind in school will take their kids for, tuition or tuition. Yeah, Tuition. I don't know why we call it tuition, actually. If somebody else knows why we call it tuition, please let me know down below. So does it help to remediate learning issues? Well, yes, that's the long about answer, but mostly really no, because, and this is why, so I'll explain why and what is better alternative to tuition for your child who has any kind of learning issues. So yes, in that anything that you offer as a repetition or revision will always improve a child's skill. But no, if the reason why your child is falling behind isn't addressed, and all you're doing is just revising the content that they've gone through in class, it doesn't really address the issue, the core issue. So I've talked before in videos about, the early years, and my late talkers bootcamp course, even the free sample, we talk about the critical brain development period, which is the period when the brain is the most malleable, and that is when the best foundation to language is set, being 0 to 3 years of age. So 0 to 3 years, in a sense, is like the foundation of the building, and your child being the building, and the building going up being, just all the progress and milestones and successes that they're going to have. So if that foundation for that building that is supposed to be a skyscraper isn't strong enough, it is no wonder that when you get, it'll start sort of, being creaky and almost caving in, because the foundation wasn't set or established well. So for the children who start school not having the requisite language or vocabulary that is expected of them of that age, and there's research around how children who start school with delayed language skills will never really quite catch up to their age-matched peers. And really, if you don't believe this, just think about when you were doing chemistry or physics. I'm just speaking all the subjects that I didn't like very much in high school, and you were just shaking your head and wondering why it is that it is not making sense. and yet that child or that student, that friend of yours at the back who's reading a novel, he's actually understanding more than you are understanding. That student who was reading a novel under the desk actually might have had a very good foundation. And it's the reason why children of teachers always used to outperform other children, like other students mostly, it's because they had a really good foundation. So the children who don't have a good foundation in, say, basic addition, or might struggle with now the concept of multiplication. If you didn't have a very good foundation in multiplication, you might also struggle with division. So these gaps sort of just keep compounding on as a child gets older or advances in grade. So, and what tuition does is that you're trying to focus. So if your child is in grade 3, and that is when everything is starting to look like is, like you start to see the formations of learning disorders, because in grade 3, there's a steep jump from just learning rote math and word not actually even focusing on word problems. So there's usually a big jump in cognitive expectations, in all the subjects. Like if you're only just writing a sentence in grade 3, you're supposed to write a whole composition or a whole essay. If you're just doing word problems that are already spelled out for you in grade 3, you're supposed to do word problems. You go in and get out, what the problem is, and then work it out. So the process is a lot more complex. And if your child then goes and has tuition, because perhaps the reason why they are falling behind is because they had these gaps in their foundation, what tuition does is just fix the third floor. So they're in grade 3, they've gone for tuition, you're just fixing grade 3, you're just fixing the third floor. Now imagine this is a building, right? So the third floor is starting to show leaks, What do? Do you just fix the leaks, or do you look at the entire structure and look at where that leak came from? So oftentimes the problem is the foundational skills to that skill that your child is struggling with. So tuition only just puts a band-aid on a burn wound, and really you've not gone in and made sure that you've sorted out the issue. An alternative would be to have your child evaluated by a speech therapist or an educational psychologist and figure out what the specific areas of difficulty for your child are. And then you go in and firm those up. If you firm those up, then everything else just develops pretty well and pretty smoothly. So that is my long answer to whether tuition works for children with learning disorders, whether that remediates the learning process delays, and what you can do about it if you want to now fix the issue, fix that leaking tap once and for all. Is get a proper evaluation, work out what really the areas of difficulty are, remediate those, help this child, establish a good foundation for all other learning. And really all other learning depends on all the prerequisite learning milestones that your child is meeting or achieving at each of the different levels. I talk too much, I know. That was supposed to be a very short explanation, but I hope that helped any parent out there that is considering, or even not quite sure, like maybe their child's already having tuition and they're thinking, what is the reason, what is the validity here? Like, am I getting, is it actually improving my child's skills? Is it just frustrating them? Children with reading disorders like dyslexia are going for tuition, and really that does not help. Research has already established that, so that is just frustrating for both yourself and your child if that is what you're doing. So thank you so much, and catch you later. Cheers.